I just thought I'd have a little look at how it feels that we can get caught up in thoughts or pulled in, and we don't quite know how we got there. So I wondered if we looked at some of the mechanisms, it might give us chance to see the patterns. So there can just be a thought, and then that thought is based in an I because that's how the mind navigates experience for the human experience. So it speaks in a me, in an I. It's an I thought. So immediately, if there is this belief that we're a separate self, that I thought is valid. So we've got an I thought, it's just neutral, just appearing. Then there's belief in a separate self, me. So that I thought has weight, that's who we are. So there's identification applied. So there's a thought, then there's a belief, and then there's identification applied to that thought. And then attention goes towards it. And that's where we start to narrow the view. That's when we start to hone in, and that's the pull. That's when it feels like we're pulled in. Attention is going towards the thought. The view narrows because the mind talks in a point of view. So the view narrows, and now we've got a narrow point of view experience of a me. But what's experiencing it is still this vast, open, spacious awareness. Just what's here now. Prior to concepts, that's aware of thoughts is just can't really be spoken about. It just is. What you are just is. It's just here. If I asked you, are you aware? You just are. So that, just your most natural mode, your just natural, undeniable sense of self. It's a limited view. It doesn't become limited, but it can limit itself in a way through these movements. So a thought appearing, a belief in a thought, so it's got weight, then the belief is based in I'm a separate self. And so attention goes towards it. The view narrows. And then there's that experience of being pulled in. The attention almost gives it fuel. So then there's another thought based in an I, then another. So we've now got a mind loop. And the experience for this is that it's sort of lost in thought. It's now got this narrow view and it's completely lost in this narrow view, forgetting that its fundamental nature just is. Now it's nature, now it's experience of what it is this separate self me that's now navigating a world. It feels separate and vulnerable and needs to organize. It's got a script of it talks in the past experience, projecting to a future. So how am I going to handle this? What am I going to do? What happens if this happens? It says there's this constant past and future referencing. And it's just how life can experience itself. But it's just to know what's experiencing. What's experiencing it isn't a separate self. So when we see that what we are is just this, that's prior to thoughts, that in which the separate self may experience appears, we get a chance to see that these are just appearances in what we are, this spaciousness. There can also be a contraction, and that adds more weight, more, more belief in this. It's mine, my pain, my anger, my suffering. Totally understandable. But what we are, can we find the sufferer when we're open, when our view is in this peripheral vision and rested back and being, and maybe our attention is now in the heart center. So there's a sense of just already okay. We're not got the looping thoughts anymore. Where is this I that was suffering? So there was suffering, but can we find the suffering? Or is it just an experience that life can have, that this can have? So then it's almost like, there's this waking up from the dream and the recognition that what we are, choice appears when we're in this broader view. So we've got more choice rather than choices are appearing based in a little me. So then we're getting the same old thing. But when choices appear here, so invitations to experience are a lot broader. So then we've got, oh, this would feel nice and that's nice. We've got choices and possibilities appearing. Not somebody choosing, not a separate self, little me choosing, just life engaging with itself in a more open, vast, easeful, effortless way. Whereas here it feels effort, it feels like effort, it feels like strain, it feels like an energy drain. The mental, physical, and emotional experience is very draining. We've entered the game of separation, which is an energetic game, but just here, that doesn't that's not an experience for It's more one of effortless being. Recognize that all the forms are appearing, they're neutral, so that means a thought form, a feeling, an emotion, situations, apparent others, anger, fear, all appearing, totally neutral from this vast open view. And then there can just be this weight added to it all, this belief in a me that it's happening to me, and that's where it becomes the situation is suffered rather than just seen. You know, can still have situations. Doesn't mean that life is not. There's still birth and death and pain, but it's not personalized. It doesn't mean that you're avoiding life. It just means it's just that you recognize you are life. That all of that is not apart from you, but it's not personal. It's not somebody that's got to manage it. It's just what's happening. Seems so simple from this broader view. But I just thought I'd offer how we get pulled into thoughts through these different experiences. And but what's experiencing them? It's not a separate self me. So there's nobody that's got to refuse thoughts or manage thoughts. It's just to see that what you are is totally already okay. So thoughts of I'm not okay are not relevant because, you know, thoughts based in limitation, that separate self-limited me isn't believed in anymore. It can still play out, you know. It's not when you recognize the truth that these thoughts are not appearing. They still appear, it's just they don't have the weight, so you don't get pulled in. So those mechanisms, is good to see that a thought is neutral. A belief in a me adds weight to the neutral thought, so now it's got some value, it's got some importance. And then attention goes towards that, and that's how life starts engaging in that narrow view. The view goes bang, narrows, panic, fear, I want to get out of here. You feel like it's got you. But you know, all of that is appearing in what we are. That narrowing of the view is appearing in this. So what you are isn't altered, but it can experience this in these denser modes of a me. So we can just start to see these mechanisms. You know, the contraction, it's not your contraction. The mind will reference it as my contraction, my pain, but it's pain and contractions and resistance is appearing. So they're all just potential experiences that life can have. So it can have it has the potential to have a me experience. So I hope this helps. Thanks for watching.